Hey, this is Rex, and you're watching the Brick Ninjas. Okay, so I had some time to kind of digest the new trailer and think about some things. Now, when I did my video earlier, I was literally reacting to it live, so there's a couple things I missed, didn't quite pick up on. Like, I thought the laugh at the end sounded a little bit like Luke, but it's obviously the Emperor. That was pretty cool. Um, so let's start. The I want to unpack this and I guess kind of make some guesses about what they're going to do with this next movie. And of course, this could be totally wrong. Who knows? I felt like I was kind of spot on with the last movie, The Last Jedi, when I watched the trailer and how um, it was a bit troublesome. But let's get started. So they start with a voiceover by Luke. First, you hear Rey breathing, and you can see that she has the lightsaber that apparently was Anakin Skywalker's. I'm not sure how that happened. I'm sure hopefully they'll explain that, but of course it broke in half in the last movie, The Last Jedi, when Rey and Ren were fighting over it. Now that was cool. Then she jumps over Kylo Ren's Tie Fighter. Pretty sure that's who that is. My question here is, why isn't Kylo shooting at her? Why is she jumping over it? Um, is she joining forces with him? Is she? I don't know. It was kind of weird. I wonder what that was about. Because, if he was coming down to kill her, why wouldn't he just shoot her? And as far as I know, those TIE fighters don't run out of bullets. They just work off of energy. So this is a little interesting to think about. And you hear Luke saying, you have 1,000 generations or something. So he's obviously speaking to her from beyond. So they're going to continue with him dying from The Last Jedi. So I'm sure we're not going to see any great Luke fights in this movie, which is something I was really, really hoping for in The Last Jedi. When I saw Rogue One and I saw how awesome they treated Darth Vader at the end, and that just brutal scene of him trying to get the schematics or the data for the Death Star, and just seeing him at his prime was awesome. I mean, that almost made the whole movie worth it. The rest of the movie is great too. I love so many things about that story, and just that little bit with Vader was so awesome. So I was hoping that they were going to do something similar with Luke. And of course, it was a total hoax at the end of The Last Jedi. So, obviously, he's still, he's in the afterlife, but he's somehow still teaching her. So that'll be interesting. And I've heard some rumors that they might have Anakin back too, so we'll see. The next couple things that you see, there's a lot of throwback to the original trilogy, from Luke narrating to Anakin's lightsaber, laser sword as he called it in the other movie. You see Leia hugging Rey. You see Lando flying the Falcon with Chewie. That was a really cool moment for me. I really felt like they should have put Lando back in the first movie. He's a really cool character. He's one I want to know more about. I would have actually appreciated a Lando movie over a Han Solo movie. And I saw Solo finally when it was available on Netflix. It's okay, but I thought Lando was cool. Then there's a shot where the whole cast is on like a cliff overlooking this water, and you can see the wreckage of the Death Star in the water. And they all look a little bit bewildered. And Rey is holding something white. It almost looks like a piece of a stormtrooper outfit or something. So who knows what that is? And then, of course, they end with the Emperor's laughter. So there's a lot of throwback in here, and I feel like because of the backlash from the last movie, J.J. Abrams and possibly Kathleen Kennedy are trying to tip their hat and say, okay, maybe we made a mistake, and we need to give a little bit of credit to your fan base and where you guys, what makes Star Wars Star Wars. Without fans, Star Wars is nothing. Wouldn't be successful without it resonating with people so much. And what resonated with people were those original characters. Now I know that the story has to move on, and we have to have new characters, and I'm totally for that. But just how the characters were treated in the last two movies was a bit I wouldn't even say a bit, it was disappointing. Anyways, getting away from that, focusing on this new movie. The, the fact that it's called The Rise of Skywalker, when I see that title, the first thing I think of is Luke. But as I've thought more about it, I'm like, okay, well, if Rey is the first thing I see in the trailer and pretty much dominant throughout the whole trailer, and Luke is referring to her and talking to her about her fight, does that give away Rey's lineage? Is she actually a Skywalker? Does Skywalker mean more than just the name? You know, like it's a family name. Like maybe it actually has a meaning that they'll reveal in the movie. Maybe she isn't exactly born from Luke, but maybe she's more like Anakin, where she was uh, willed by the Force. So that's interesting. I'm not sure what to quite think about that. Like if somebody else was asking me, "Oh, so does that mean that she's a Skywalker?" I'm like, "Oh, you know what? That totally could mean that," and I'm interested to see that. Like I said in my initial reaction, I am cautiously optimistic. As I first saw it, of course, I was excited. There was a lot of really cool things in that trailer, things that totally resonated with me, and I think spoke to a lot of original trilogy fans. But as I went back and watched a couple more times with a little more discerning eye, I picked up some things and was curious about some things. Will I see it when it first comes out? I don't know. I'm gonna have to see another trailer, and I'm gonna have to hear some more about it before I really make that decision. Like I said, The Last Jedi left me with, you know, left me very disenchanted, and like, wow, okay, like, I know you're trying to move on, but did you have to like do it so harshly and not care about the story? I just felt like The Last Jedi was really disrespectful to not only the saga and the characters and the fans, but the story in general. I mean, it was just I felt it was very hastily done, um, and not well done. And it's not gonna the history is not gonna be kind to that movie. But like I said, I'm excited to see what J.J. Abrams does. I liked what he did with The Force Awakens. I thought that he definitely comparing that to The Last Jedi was, when you do that, Abrams is much more respectful to the source material and fans and things like that, while still kind of pushing it forward. The biggest gripe there is that Luke is really only in the very end of the movie, and I think he was really trying to be safe or something. I don't know what he was doing with that, um, but who knows? Anyways, with all that said, seeing the Death Star wreckage, seeing Lando, hearing Luke, uh, and Emperor Palpatine and Leia, what are your opinions about all that stuff? What do you think is going to happen? What are your theories? I'm very curious. Like I really wished in the second one. I'll just give this out there before I sign off. I wish in the second one that they would have had is Rey actually train with Luke similar to The Empire Strikes Back. Uh, Not so many jokes and stuff like that. But at one point where he kind of gets her like, okay, you're ready. You're about a Jedi. Let's go face the enemy. This would have been towards the end of the movie. That's what I think would have been perfect. Luke would have gone with Rey, and there would have been a reunion with Leia. And Luke would have seen Leia, and as he's coming towards her, Snoke and Kylo Ren come in, and Snoke kills Leia, and just sends Luke into a rage like Darth Vader at the end of Rogue One, where he just starts annihilating everybody and throwing down, and you see like how powerful he is. He just loses control to his emotions. This would have been an echo from like the end of Return of the Jedi when Darth Vader, mentions Luke's sister and he loses it. This would have been that again, except amplified. And then at the very end, like Luke's just standing there after he's killed Snoke. Kylo Ren's gotten away. Rey is like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Luke is just standing there breathing like real heavy, like kind of realizing what happened. And you just sit there and think, oh my gosh, did Luke just cross to the dark side? And they should have cut the credits. And then that would have like left everybody on edge, and they would have made a really cool story for the next one. But that's just a little bit of my fan fiction there. Like I said, in the comments below, let me think of what you thought about all these old, all these throwbacks from the original movies. What do you think they're going to do? Do you think they're going to disappoint again, or do you think they're actually going to really be respectful to the source material and the saga? I mean, it's the last movie, so I think it's hard to do that. But I'm interested to see how they do it. And like I said, I want to see another trailer before I really make up my mind. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm a little more optimistic than cautious, but I'm still a little bit weary. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.